love, unity, civilization, and total chaos.
The natives have been roused. American voters have emerged with torches and pitchforks ready. Despite the unpresidential tweets and the spin machines and the torrent of bald-faced lies, the American voters ain't having it. First, they took to the streets. Now, they are haunting their congresspeople, town meeting or no town meeting. They are disgusted with the Russian rigging of the election. They feel betrayed by the millionaires and billionaires that make up Trump's administration. They are fearful about losing affordable health care, fearful that their loved ones could become sick or die, and a very real fear of their families becoming homeless because of unaffordable medical bills. This fear, this anger, has been voiced loudly and clearly in Smalltown America, Blackstone, Virginia, population 3,600. Fairview, Tennessee, population 7,700. Maquoketa, Iowa, population 6,000.
But you have to acknowledge that we got too damn many people on food stamps in Kentucky. And last I heard, we're the leader, and that is not where we want to be the leader. And the last I heard, these coal jobs are not coming back, and now these people don't have the insurance they need because they're poor. And they work those coal mines, and they're sick. The veterans are sick, the veterans are broken down, they're not getting what they need. If you can answer any of that, I'll sit down and shut up like Elizabeth Warren. I'm sorry.
And Mitch McConnell just laughed. He didn't have an answer for that. Two clear themes have emerged: affordable health care and Russia. Americans really like affordable health care. Many can remember the terrors of having their families, their kids, their elderly parents vulnerable to the unknown. For years, Republicans in Congress have been chomping at the bit to get power so that they could eliminate the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Republicans made a fatal mistake by not having a replacement ready to present. Republicans have been put on notice that such a mistake is a bad one. America, I am glad to say, really likes democracy. Americans get angry when the democratic process is influenced or manipulated by corporate interests, and especially angry when non-democratic foreign superpowers interfere. In spite of all the corruption and lies from the executive branch, the system appears to be working. That is very good news. Mostly the angry constituents are yelling at Republicans, but not exclusively. Demonstrations took place recently in front of Chuck Schumer's Brooklyn home. Other than health care and Russia, people have been yelling about immigration, the wall, the education secretary. Last night in Springdale, Arkansas, Republican Senator Tom Cotton heard a somewhat quieter voice from a constituent named Toby. Choke me up.
Donald Trump makes Mexicans not important to people who are in Arkansas who like Mexicans, like me, my grandma, and all my people. And he believes.
That's how.
And he's deleting all the parts in PBS Kids just to make a wall. He shouldn't do that.
He shouldn't. Toby is 7 years old. He added that he will be 8 soon. Toby brought up the wall and budget cuts to the Park Service and to PBS. Yes, Trump wants to eliminate the public broadcasting service. $450 million fund the PBS. $450 million wouldn't build 10 feet of the Mexico Wall, projected to cost over 20 billion of your dollars. But this is an age when elected officials have to be repeatedly reminded to do their jobs. This is the age when it is necessary to put a banner on the Statue of Liberty stating, "Refugees welcome." Now, with me tonight to dissect this puzzling age is my co-host, Jean Lee. Come on in here, Jean.
Hi, Rich.
Hi there.
So, will we be able to dump Trump soon?
Will we be able? That's a very good question.
Okay.
And you know why I say that's a very good question? Because I don't have a very good answer. But let's move up a little here in the light.
Okay.
And it's a complicated question. Now, with all this going on, with all the town hall meetings, the fist shaking and everything,
Yeah.
you would think that the country is ready to dump Trump, to impeach. Not quite. Now, these are the angry people. These are the people affected by Trump's policies, particularly medical care, home health care. They're pissed off about the immigration policies. But who's not showing up at these town hall meetings are the people who like the dog whistles, the people who really like the racist sentiments that and the policies that are coming out of the White House.
Like Jeff Sessions, he probably loves this.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of people who are very tuned to that. They like what Trump is doing, and they somehow think he's going to turn around the economy and bring back all those jobs. Some of those people, that lady who was yelling at Mitch McConnell,
Yeah.
realizes those jobs aren't coming back. Manufacturing jobs, even if, well, America kind of sold off the manufacturing jobs like 20, 30 years ago when they decided, oh, well, we want cheaper clothing.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
that important that it be made here. Now, even if they bought all those companies bought their manufacturing plants back here, those jobs don't come back because it is so automated. Same thing with the coal industry. They used
Robots.
Robots, yeah. And not even robots, just mechanized things. They used to get coal by digging holes and, digging
Yeah.
mines into mountains and dragging the coal out with sheer muscle. Now they blow up the top of the muscle, blow up the top of the mountain,
yeah.
and most of that muscle is replaced by machinery.
No, but
so
don't
those
you-
jobs aren't coming back. So it's tricky. Go ahead.
But don't you think in 20 or 30 years, you could do a lot with your career? You can make a new career, and it's kind of almost up to the individual to do that. You can't depend on government for everything.
No, you cannot depend
Yeah.
on government for everything. I think what's been happening is there's been a lack of real education for people to fulfill other jobs. They were manufacturing jobs were once called semi-skilled or unskilled labor.
Yeah.
And there's not that many of those jobs around. People need skills training. The other thing that makes me doubt, now, next year is an election year. Okay,
For 2018, yes.
2018, right?
For the representatives.
The Republicans do not want any impeachment proceedings going on in the election year. So either they have to do it this year or basically don't do it at all. So it may not ever get to that point despite all the angry people on the streets, all the angry people in the town hall meetings. But what likely will happen is if the Republicans don't get their act together, and it's likely not to happen,
Yeah.
they're going to be voted out of office. The big mistake they made during this recess is they go out to their constituents and they don't have a plan. Some of the Republican senators do have plans, but it's not a unified plan. And the thing is, it's very, very tricky to take apart health care, to take this whole thing apart. It was tricky to implement. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton couldn't do it.
And Obama did it.
Yeah, it took maybe 20 years of effort to actually get this in place, and it's less than perfect. But to dismantle it and rebuild it. Completely, yes.
The Steve Bannon way.
The Steve Bannon way. Well, Steve Bannon doesn't give a damn about people who are going to be dying on the streets, as Trump put it. But hey, listen up. You can call us up right now. We are live on the 23rd of February. I did not say this is dvtv live. My name is Richard Spezialy.
And
This is my
I'm
co-host, Jean Lee. And we're taking your phone calls at 212-757-1393. You can also tweet us at DVTV Live, at DVTV Live. But give us a call right now so we can talk to you. 212-757-1393. Now, speaking of the dog whistles, I don't have this on the graphic, but the Anne Frank, they had something to say about Trump's less than full-throated.
The Anne Frank Museum?
The Anne Frank, well, it's the Anne Frank Institute, Anne Frank Center, and they're housed in New York. And when Trump came out with the less than full-throated, less than hearty condemnation, it was hardly a condemnation of what's been going on in the Jewish community centers and that cemetery in the Midwest where they turned over tombstones and everything. So the Anne Frank Center came out with this statement. Here's part of it. Look it up online. It's well worth reading. The president's sudden acknowledgement is a Band-Aid on the cancer of anti-Semitism that has infected his own administration. His statement today, which was Tuesday, his statement today is a pathetic asterisk of condescension. Make no mistake, the anti-Semitism coming out of this administration is the worst we have ever seen from any administration.
And you know what the worst thing is? His beloved daughter is Jewish now.
Yeah, and that's his excuse. The same excuse that racists have given for years. Well, some of my best friends are black, or I have gay friends, or something like that.
He's got Omarosa too.
Huh?
He's got Omarosa too.
He has Omarosa too. There's been. Yes, we acknowledge that. He has a son-in-law who's Jewish. His daughter is converted. That doesn't make him not an anti-Semite. And somebody on TV said, I can't remember who it was, said it hardly matters whether Trump himself is racist. It's his policies that are racist, and the people who surround him are Nazis. And that's the dangerous part.
Steve Bannon.
Yeah, yeah. And not only they're Nazis, but they're very prejudiced against LGBT people. Do we have on the CG, what the hell is her name? Jackie Ivanhoe. Jackie Ivanhoe. We have a tweet from her. She's asking, and I don't have it in front of me, but she asked the president for another meeting. Now, she was the best thing that they could get for for the inauguration.
She sang
at the
there.
inauguration.
And this is a child.
And she's 16 years old, yes.
I mean, legally a child, not like a child.
She's concerned about the bathroom law that Trump just rescinded. Trump administration rescinded it's not quite a law, it's a directive.
He's leaving it up to the states to decide.
Yes.
And it's not like a national law. But the funny thing is, if you go to a school like Harvey Milk High School on Astor Place, you're good. You don't go to Harvey Milk High School, life's not going to be fun for you.
Right. Well, I don't know if I can totally agree with that, but
at Harvey Milk High School, they'll probably keep the bathroom thing.
Yeah. Well, yes. The thing is that us adults find this, some of us find this incredibly complicated. Oh, a transgender kid is going to go to a bathroom opposite to the one that they were born in. But kids don't have a big problem with this. School administrators are finding out.
They don't even care,
It's not a big problem. It's only a big problem in the mindset of certain people. So anyway, Jackie Ivanhoe has requested a meeting with Trump to meet with her and her transsexual sister.
Transgender sister.
Transgender sister. I have to get my terminology right, transgender sister.
She is now a sister. Brother gone to sister.
I think that would do Trump a lot of good to meet more transgender people and just to make them a little more sensitive. Again, he paid lip service during the campaign. He actually thanked the LGBT community, but what does he do? He rescinds this order, which wasn't really fully implemented, but it did have the specter of taking away federal funding from schools who do not follow that order. So right now it's kind of dead in the water. It's very disconcerting, and people are getting angry. It's very good to see people across the nation. Again, I said with their torches and pitchforks. That's an exaggeration. They're not out for blood yet, but they are angry.
People are showing up at these town meetings, and good for them, and good for making your voices being heard, because that's important.
And good for, I criticized McConnell before, but he did show up. Senator
He has to hear this stuff.
Senator Tom Cotton did show up. A lot of senators, a lot of Republican House members are avoiding town meetings. They're avoiding one of them. I saw Rubio this morning on TV. A constituent was asking him, when are you going to, I'm your constituent, Senator, when are you going to hold a town meeting? And Rubio was just like, totally ignoring
But
him.
isn't it crazy? Like, people are showing their IDs to prove, like in Colorado,
Well,
they're
that's
all
another
showing.
thing.
Yeah, they're
I don't have that
showing
on
their
the CG, but
IDs. That we're
not-
proving from their certain from zip codes to be like, we are the constituents. We live here. We're not paid.
Because
we
they're
are real
accusing
people.
them of being astroturf rather than grassroots. What that means is the president and Sean Spicer are saying all these people who are protesting Trump, who are speaking out against Trump,
Are
getting
paid.
paid. Excuse me, I've been speaking out against Trump for a long time. Where's my damn check?
Yeah,
You
we
know?
don't get paid to do this show.
We don't get paid to do this show. And in Colorado, I saw that picture of everybody.
Yeah, everybody having their
because one of
ID.
the-
Yeah.
Whoever the representative was said, "Can you please, show me that you're not bust in from somewhere else? Can you show me that you're Colorado residents?" Everybody in the room held up their ID. So it's absurd that
You would say that.
It's absurd from the very beginning, from the day after inauguration, when 3 million people showed up in the streets of America to protest this clown. He turns around and said, "Oh, they're paid protesters."
Yeah, how could you pay
Soros
3
is
million
like-
people?
George Soros doesn't have that kind of money. He has a lot more money than I do, probably more money than you do.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't have enough money to pay 3,000 people to go out on the street and in some cases
Protest.
risk arrests. I don't think there were that many arrests because
No.
it was peaceful protest. But in a lot of places, you are risking arrests, and that arrest, and that's why I always thank people who are willing to do that in the streets and in a questionable
Yeah.
legal atmosphere. In New York, the cops have been pretty damn good. In other places in the country, they haven't been so good. And we've brought up examples of journalists, photographers getting arrested for just being in the wrong
Wow.
place at the wrong time. I don't know, and I need to follow up on what happened to the photographer in Washington the day of the inauguration. Because there was a photographer who was just not part of the demonstration, merely photographing the demonstration, gets hauled off, and they threw the book at him. They basically threw the book at him. So, crimes against journalists, it doesn't only happen overseas.
it's also happening against people that are voting. You know what I mean? They're not supposed to, but they're getting thrown in jail for 8 years because they voted, but they weren't
Well, that was
that was
the
just
illegal.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they bought this case up of this illegal immigrant
poor
from
Mexican lady.
from Texas, and they
Just
she actually went and
voted. Yeah,
She
I
actually
mean,
went and voted, and then she
shouldn't have.
admitted that she did.
Yeah, but that's
not thinking,
that's
know,
not a
thinking
violent
that-
crime.
No, but to be sentenced to 8 years
That's
and
ridiculous.
then get deported. That's crazy. And by the way, she not only voted for Trump, she voted for the the Attorney General
Yeah.
of Texas, who threw her in jail.
Yeah.
That's pretty creepy. I have to apologize now. Last week, I believe I got Pamela Yates and Sally Yates mixed up. Two attorney generals. Sally Yates is the hero attorney general
Yeah.
who got fired from the Trump administration. She was assistant attorney general under Obama. She stayed on for the transition, and then she got fired. Trump said for being disloyal. Really, she got fired for informing Trump and his team that Flynn had actually, that the Justice Department was aware that Flynn had actually talked to the Russians before
Oh, yeah.
the inauguration. That's what she got fired for.
Poor thing.
Pamela Yates is the attorney general who took a $25,000 bribe from Trump.
Oh, from
in
Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, that
So
lady.
I got them both attorneys general, both female, both with the same last name, Yates. But forgive me for getting those two confused. 212-757-1393. Your calls to DVTV Live tonight. 212-757-1393. Can we put up the Mark Hamill? I don't usually follow Mark Hamill on Twitter, but find the Mark Hamill. It says Putin elected. Basically, it's like write a sad story in 3 words, and he put Putin elected Trump.
Oh, God.
So if that gets you angry, give us a call, 212-757-1393. Hey, even if you think that the election was totally legitimate,
give us a call. Let's talk
give us
about
a call.
it.
Let's talk about
We'll talk
it.
about
We're
it.
supposed to be taking calls from both sides of the aisle, both sides of the consideration. 212-757-1393. We try and be nonpartisan, but guess what?
We are.
This program, somewhat, but this program is just a little too outspoken for Free Speech TV. There were 5 programs that recently migrated, well, not migrated, but they are now seen nationally on Free Speech TV. 5 MNN programs. Go online to MNN.org and check them out. But we're not one of them because we're too outspoken for Free Speech TV. Hi,
okay, I just wanted to say I love the show.
Thank you.
And,
do you think we're too outspoken?
I'm sorry?
Do you think we're too outspoken?
No, I mean, it's you're saying what a lot of people are feeling. And, the thing I'm just always concerned about is that, we're all trying to get these news blips from everywhere, and I'm not sure who or what or how is telling the truth on the news. We are getting slammed by both sides, propaganda here and propaganda there, and who knows where it's all coming from. Just want to know what your take is on that, and what you think is, how do we know what's real?
I should dig up, we did a show on fake news a couple of months back.
CNN.
I should also dig up, I did shows very early on at the beginning of my run here on this network, where we talked before there was even a term called fake news. But the first thing to do is consider the source. Now, if they say unnamed sources, that could be a little fishy, but, if it's on the front page of the Times, is it automatically true? Again, they sometimes name unnamed sources. Check out who is saying what.
And
where's this coming from?
And who's writing it? Are they a well-respected journalist, or have they been writing for a long time? Also,
on the front page of the Times, they do put opinion pieces, but they are clearly marked as opinion pieces. Now, not every news outlet actually does that. You can consider anything that you hear on dvtv pretty much of an opinion piece, okay? We have opinions, and we're not here as a news service. But check out if it's an opinion piece, and check out the source. Now, if you get a tweet or a thing on the internet and it's unsourced, that is mighty suspicious.
And it could be clickbait and give you a virus.
Well, it could be clickbait and give you a virus. I mean, all these Macedonian teenagers during the run-up to Trump, they put all these stories out and were making, something like $10,000 a month, it was estimated, from Google ads, just for putting up fake stories. But they found out very quickly that the fake stories that they put up that favored Trump got a lot more clicks
than the ones that favored Hillary.
Yeah, so does that mean that the Republicans and the Trump heads are more gullible? I don't know. Maybe it does. I tend to think it does, but that's my opinion.
And
piece.
CNN is not fake news, unlike what Trump thinks.
Yeah, they have a little bit too much celebrity news for my taste.
But I'm
thinking, my thoughts are that maybe money exists heavily on both sides. And, it's really a battle of not just words, but a battle of who's got more money. Probably similar to how they're fighting across the ocean there in Syria. Whoever's got the most money, these mercenaries are going to fight on that side. And I'm kind of thinking it's going on in the same place here. Is whoever's got the most money is going to, be able to fund all of these different, I don't know what you want to call propaganda, news stories, even demonstrations on both sides. It's just, I think it's where the money's at. That's what I'm thinking. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
And it costs a lot of money to do these things. I don't know. I've been throwing money at stuff. I throw money at the ACLU, at Planned Parenthood. Does that mean I'm feeding the propaganda too?
No, you're supporting causes that you believe in.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
thinking.
you think are important for this country. And you're not doing it for your own good. You're doing it for the good of everybody.
Exactly.
You're not doing it because you're in trouble with the law or anything. But I don't buy. There was a term coined during the Bush years called astroturf, where they where things appeared online that appeared to be grassroots organizations, but really weren't. The Million Mom March was one of those things. They're very anti-gay, and it's not a million moms; it's like 3 moms, and they have a very conservative agenda.
That's fantastic.
They have a very conservative agenda, but I mean, you can look up with a little research and a little bit of Googling, you can pretty much figure out who these organizations are. But in terms of news and information, there's a few trusted outlets that have been around for a long time. If it's something that you've never heard of, see what they do. For instance, Raw Story. A lot of the things on Raw Story are not written by Raw Story staff. They carry news articles that come from other news outlets, but they always credit it. And I always like to check. If I find something really interesting, I will look it up. I will Google it. It takes about 5 seconds. Go to that source website and look at the original story and see what's changed. Yes, it is.
Well, I was just wondering. I mean, whatever happened to the days where you could just watch the news and just, like the Walter Cronkite days, where you could really trust what was happening and not have to go anywhere else and burden our lives with this crazy stuff. But I understand what you're saying regarding the research. But then again, we're so burdened with our jobs and trying to, just live and.
He read the news on CBS. Those days are long gone, unfortunately, and trusted news sources. In the days
Dan Rather is trusted.
Well, yeah, he's old.
He's old.
He doesn't have a regular news outlet. But those were different days. In the 1960s, the 1950s, it was basically geopolitical, national political news. There wasn't any sports in there. There wasn't any celebrity news.
No, it was just straight up news back then?
It was straight up news.
It's like BBC style?
Yeah, like BBC stuff, yeah. BBC has a lot of entertainment stuff.
Oh, yeah, but the Brits
I should show you a newscast from like the 1960s. It was far different and far less flashy because a lot drier because they didn't have that many graphics. They didn't have that, everything had to be on film. It was a far different world. Tune in again next week. 10:30 p.m. Huh?
Let's recall Trump like Ray Davis.
Oh, yeah. I wish we could. Until then, Richard Speziale, good night. Good news.